Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here, you can gain access to perks such as a continuously updated sideboard guide for Legacy Doomsday, as well as being able to send private messages. You can do so by clicking the link in the video description or going to patreon.com/NevilleShootMTG. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video, back playing Doomsday. But before I get to the deck list, I want to give a big shout out to the newest Patreon members on my channel, Wumpus and Martin. Thanks so much for joining and supporting, gaining access to the sideboard guide. I'm actually currently working on a primer. It's currently sitting at 12 pages that I'm going to be putting out on the Patreon as well once I finish it. There's still a way to go. I want it to be nice and all, so I'm like working on doing like pictures and stuff as well for that. But thanks so much, and yeah, today I am playing Tempo Doomsday, I suppose. Not too worried about the names really, guys. You know, turbo, tempo, control, whatever. But like this is a version of the deck that plays creatures. It is somewhat slower in that we only have 2 cyclers and 2 lotus petals. We're giving up some number of early turn wins in order to play Tamiyo primarily, and to have a pretty strong pivot plan out of the sideboard with Barrowgoyfs, Murktide Regents in removal. I decided to add the main deck Nihil Spellbomb after talking to patron member Wumpus, who was just inquiring about like last time around I played this list. I had a main deck Fatal Push. I've moved that into the sideboard, and I have added a Brazen Borrower. Something makes me want to play more than one of these in the main deck, but right now I only was able to find room for one. And then we have the Nihil Spellbomb, and this is obviously a concession to the popularity of Dimir Reanimator primarily, but also Oops All Spells. Nihil Spellbomb also has the added benefit of being a way to beat Endurance in Game 1. If you're not familiar with that trick, it's basically if you make a pile and the opponent is representing Endurance, then if your pile includes or you're able to play Nihil Spellbomb from hand, then Endurance basically is just not going to do anything. And Nihil Spellbomb is better, I think, than Relic of Progenitus, which kind of filled the same role in times gone by, because if you want to draw the card or not, it's optional here. It's not optional on Relic, which can kind of be awkward. Obviously, Relic has more value just sitting in play and exiling cards every turn, but yeah. So that's the Spellbomb. I think basically right now, like Dimir Reanimator is pretty clearly very good. I don't want to be too ultimate in my, announcements here. I don't really have anything other than what everyone else has, which is sort of scattered data and anecdotes and personal experience. But it does seem to be a pretty strong bet that Dimir Reanimator is right now on top of the Legacy format as the best deck. It's certainly the most played deck among the decks that are finishing with results that are recorded. And so why are we playing something other than that? Well, personal preference, personal playstyle, but I also happen to think that this version of Doomsday is pretty well positioned. I think Tamiyo, the more I play with this card, the better I just realize that it is. Is it ban worthy? I mean, part of me kind of thinks that it will get banned because like a 1 mana card that like 1 blue mana, it wins the game on its own and is card advantage is sort of like right smack dab in the middle of where we have seen other cards get into trouble before. Like it's yeah, I don't know. It is legendary. I mean, Ragavan is legendary. if control decks come back in force and they play Caracas and they play Prismatic Ending and like basically 8 Swords to Plowshares for Prismatic Ending for Plow, then maybe it's a different story. But I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to play a deck that actually plays Tamiyo because why wouldn't I be doing that? And the fact that we can slip her in here in our Doomsday deck is pretty appealing. Um, would I like to also be a faster Doomsday deck? Yeah, but I don't know. I think like running the Tamiyos kind of incentivizes you to also be running some number of creatures in the main deck. I've got the two Bowmasters, the two Barrowgoyfs, and then a Brazen Borrower, and then we have like a bunch of stuff to bring in. All right, well, I think that's it for the deck tech. Now let's go play some league matches. All right, we are on the play for round number 1. Opponent says they love the channel. Thanks so much, opponent. Really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and keep and hoi yo yo. Okay, we either just try to put Doomsday on the stack and pass the turn, or we go for a Thoughtseize and then try and actually win next turn. Or we keep up Dark Ritual into Bowmasters. I don't think I'm going to do that. All right. Well, I mean, let's go ahead and keep at least. That is that's the easy choice here. Meanwhile, opponent mulligans to 6. Ooh, and down to 5. Okay, opponent found 5 cards. I'm going to go ahead and fetch an Underground Sea and cast a Thoughtseize here. Pithing Needle and Manifold Key. Ooh, it's this deck. Okay. Well, I'm going to take the Pithing Needle and stop them from like randomly naming Street Wraith or Edge of Autumn, which I think there is actually a pretty big chance that they would name one of those cards. And also like Flooded Strand, though that seems less likely. Here comes the Manifold Key off of Urz's Tower. And they would need to have something very, very unlikely for us not to win right now. Something like a Mindbreak Trap in the main deck. You never know. But it's not going to stop us. Here comes Doomsday. We make the standard pile. We're going to need to cycle into it, so Brainstorm is the first card. And then we have LED. Okay, my Magic Online client just crashed here. I hope I will be able to resolve this Doomsday. I was going to say I'm going to grab Brainstorm, Lion's Eye Diamond, Consider. Yeah, it seems like it's working. Street Wraith and Thassa's Oracle. That is your standard definition pile. So Thassa on the bottom, Cycler on top, then Consider an LED. The order doesn't matter there. And then Brainstorm as the top card. We cycle Edge of Autumn, and then we cast the Brainstorm. We put back a blank. Let's have that be Orcish Bowmasters. We put Consider on top. And yeah, see if the opponent is running, you know, Mindbreak Trap in the main deck. Would be a surprise. Cast Consider, put away the Bowmasters, and play Thassa. Alright, sweet. So for this matchup, we do have some stuff in the sideboard. We have a Consign to Memory. We have a couple of Forces of Negation. Shieldred's Edict can kill a Karn. I don't know if that's really relevant. Brazen Borrower can bounce stuff. Murktide being just a big, like, a big flyer is not irrelevant. I think on the draw, we probably can get rid of the Thoughtseizes. I think Barrowgoyf is possibly not that interesting. I mean, the game can come down to like Urza's Saga tokens, and then Barrowgoyf is not terrible, but it also is pretty easy for them to kill with Kozilek's command. I think the Nihil Spellbomb can go. I don't really know that they use their graveyard at all. So do we have 2 more cards we want to get rid of? Like Orcish Bowmasters, I feel like it's almost a little bit of a trap card because you feel like, oh, I mean, this is pretty good if they have the One Ring to put pressure on that, but that means they have resolved the One Ring, and they can take some damage. They can like draw, like if they have, say, a Manifold Key and they resolve Ring, they draw a card, and they untap Ring, they draw 2 more. They've drawn 3 and not lost any life because they have protection. Yeah, then we have a 4/4, and eventually they're going to be like under some pressure, but I actually think I want to try this. I don't like how I'm seeing my, like, I don't know if you noticed this while I've been talking, but sometimes the pictures on some of the cards like flicker out. It feels like something is wrong with the client today. Yeah. Anyways, I'll try and minimize the bother to you as a viewer, but just sort of speaking that out loud. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and submit here. I like keeping both Thassa and Jace as win conditions because like Disruptor Flute is a thing, and also they do have like what do you call it? Like Kozilek's Command that can beat or at least interact problematically for us with Thassa, but not with Jace. I'm going to keep this hand, double Force of Will, and Brainstorm. I mean, I guess Brainstorm, like Force of Will, Daze, and Brainstorm. Would really not like to see them Chalice of the Void here, but I guess they're a key build, so I would be surprising if they played that. I guess I'll just pass here. I kind of don't want to Daze because I want to Brainstorm and fetch next turn, if possible. On the other hand, if Daze is given a target here, it is pretty tempting because it's unlikely that Daze is going to do stuff on subsequent turns. Candelabra, okay. I'm not going to fight over that. That is a lot of mana, but their deck is like all about a lot of mana. Okay, I'm going to fetch Undercity Sewers here. Sometimes it's correct to fight over the mana, but I don't know that I want to do that here. Ooh, how about that? Doomsday, right on the tippity top. Yeah, I mean, I am not getting away from that. Mindbreak Trap, not on. Not sure why I'm talking so much from a Mindbreak Trap. I don't know that there are many Mindbreak Traps in the format right now. So now the question is, do we want both Jace and Thassa? I kind of don't want to give up all my forces here, but if I want to, there is just a Jace win next turn. I think I'm going to go for that. I'm going to put Thassa in the pile as well. No reason not to do that. So let's see here. Thassa, LED, Jace, and 2 Cyclers seems about right. So basically, I can draw the LED, then I can cast Brainstorm, drawing Jace, putting Jace, like sacking my hand. Then Jace comes into play. The rest of the pile is Thassa, Cycler, Cycler. So we can activate Jace. And I mean, that loses if they just sit tight on a Disruptor Flute. I guess it doesn't lose, but then we don't have the protection for it, and then they can, like, with Jace on the stack, they can plus Jace. Not plus Jace. Play the Disruptor Flute naming Jace, so Jace can't plus. But if they do that, then our next draw is going to be Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, no, I like this. And Thassa's Oracle with a Jace in play, let me tell you about that. You have Devotion 5. All right, let's put Edge of Autumn on the bottom, then Street Wraith and Thassa, and Jace and LED. We can basically Force of Will twice now on their turn, or Force once in Daze, but I mean. All right, so they have access to, well, 4 mana, and then 3, and then another 3 mana, so 6 mana. They're passing. They have options here. They're either sitting on Kozilek's Command or Disruptor Flute. I think if they had Flute, they would have cast, or potentially would have cast Flute before, like on my upkeep on the turn where I cast Doomsday. They had 2 mana open. If they're worried about Thassa's Oracle, which they are right to be worried about that, then they have to Flute in response to Brainstorm, I think. Because Thassa's Oracle isn't, like, activated. Okay, well, let's try this. Losing all these beautiful Force of Wills. Yeah, here comes the flute. Okay, so what do you name? They might have a second flute, who knows? So if they have double flute here, then they win. I guess they don't win because I'm gonna cast Jace now. And so like Jace wins eventually, just no matter if there's a flute naming him. Okay, Jace is in. I'm gonna activate targeting myself. If they can bounce Jace right now, that's a problem. Okay, never mind. They concede, yeah. Alright, sweet. Off to winning match, or a winning start. Let's go for round number 2. Alright, I am on the draw for round number 2. I'm gonna keep this hand. It has Doomsday, it has almost the mana to cast it, some cyclers and stuff. Opponent, meanwhile, mulligans to 6. Underground Sea. And we're getting Thoughtseize, okay. I'm guessing my Doomsday's gone, but you never know. If they're like a Force of Will and stuff, they might take a cantrip here. Alright. Doomsday is gone. And I think I cycled this Street Wraith. Get a card deeper and... Oh, that was not good. Alright, let's ponder. There's a Dark Ritual. There's Bowmasters. Do we want Bowmasters? I think I take this. I'm gonna draw the Dark Ritual and then I'll have Bowmasters next turn. Guess I might play the Petal here, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, let's try this. Petal lets me emergency brainstorm, so I hope I don't need to do that. Boo, brainstorm. Turn too early. So this is probably Dimir Reanimator. Could be Dimir Tempo, could be Doomsday. Those are the most obvious things that this could be. No shuffle. And a Tamiyo, okay. Well, drawing the Bowmasters, gonna pass. And hopefully they have another brainstorm. That would be lovely. There's a ponder. I guess I take the bite here, bite of the cherry. Okay, there was a long pause on that. That could mean they have force. It could also mean they have days, and we're thinking about making me spend my Lotus Petal. It probably means they have force. I'm pinging them. I'm not like pinging Tamiyo in case they randomly like draw another card. They can flip the Tamiyo here if they want to. Could have their own Bowmasters. Okay, they do want to flip the Tamiyo. It's going to cost them another ping. I'm going to have a 3/3, which obviously is a 2/2 underneath the Tamiyo, but it does keep Tamiyo from like growing ever. Okay. Another Doomsday would be nice. I'm going to start off with the Brainstorm here. Ugh. Let's get rid of Undercity Sewers and a Dark Ritual, I think. Yeah, I'm going to be shuffling. Alright, so the Orc army is going to be attacking Tamiyo because we don't want them to be regrowing things, and we don't want to eventually just lose to the Tamiyo. Yeah, I'm not super duper comfortable with this, where this game is heading, I have to say. That Brainstorm kind of bricked for us. I think we needed that to deliver. Thoughtseize. Yeah, go ahead. Now, like a Brazen Borrower on our Orc army is like, I'm not going to say game over, but it's like really big game. They take our Edge of Autumn. That makes sense. It's probably the only card really that is worth taking here. I think like now a Barrowgoyf becomes something we're really interested in drawing. Okay, getting Undercity Sewers here. Our own Brazen Borrower is nice. LED, not so much. I'm interested in Doomsday. I'm interested in Barrowgoyf. Or, you know, another Dark Ritual. Gross. Okay. Here comes the beats. And they have the Petty Theft. Yeah, I fucking knew it. Okay. Yeah, this game is running away from us now. Tamiyo is gonna... Well, I mean, she can only really buy Thoughtseize right now, which is all that, like, doesn't really do anything against this, but she's only 2 more turns away from ultimating, so we need to hit pay dirt now, and we need them to not have interaction. Oh, come on, deck. Really? Yeah, I think we just lost. Well, I mean, I guess they can't really Tamiyo ultimate with the Bowmasters in play. So that's something. I mean, this is what happens when you combine the tempo elements and the Doomsday elements. You sometimes like want to go in one direction, and your deck pushes you in the other direction. Um, let's see, I'm at 13 here. If I were to Doomsday now, I would be at 6, and some ways away like from winning, I guess. I don't know. You'd imagine they have a force of will. Okay, Thoughtseize. Well, that's funny. Go nuts. Look at this mess. Okay, so pressure's off from Tamiyo ultimating here. Even though, I mean, that means they must not have an answer to Bowmasters, um, which is good. Ooh, how about that? Okay, I'm gonna attack Tamiyo. She'll be down to 2. And then the question then becomes, do I want to ping the Brazen Borrower right now? Or do I want to ping Tamiyo? I think I'm going to pass, actually, because I think right now we can take another hit from the Brazen Borrower. If they have removal spell for Bowmasters, and then like they want to free up their own cantrips, then that's pretty interesting. They do have 5 cards. I've not seen any animation effects from them, so I wonder if they're playing those. Oh, there was a pause. I thought they were gonna like ninjutsu in what's his face? Kaito. Okay. I am actually going to, if I ping Tamiyo here, I can kill her. But then I'm like on a pretty short clock here. Okay. They had force, pitching force. Come on. Oh, that was not good. And they plus Tamiyo last game. Yeah, all right, last turn. I guess I'll just pass. They have another, yeah. I mean, that means it's almost over here. I would pretty much need to hit like, um, I guess my own Brazen Borrower is more or less the best thing I could hope for. Bounce one of, or yeah, what would I even bounce? I guess bounce one of those and then like block the other one, and they return Thoughtseize. Yeah, bring it on, baby. If not, Brazen Borrower here, I would need a Brainstorm, and then for the Brainstorm to really deliver. Yeah, I didn't get it. Bummer. So they didn't show us any animation spells, but they also didn't show us any removal except for Brazen Borrower. Oh, I have a hard time saying that. Which makes me think they probably are Reanimator. Because if not, I would expect them to have found like Fatal Push. So I think we want the second cage. I think we want to not be Doomsday. They already know about all the creatures we have, so there's no real, like, nothing to be gained by trying to remain Doomsday for one more game here. I think I bring in all of this, and we can board out all the Doomsday stuff. We have 17 lands. Going down on petals doesn't seem ideal. We can cut the Consider. And like having Force of Will versus them is, I mean, it's great once you get ahead. Like if you resolve the first big creature, like if you resolve a Barrowgoyf, then I think you really want Force of Will. But if you don't, like, you don't probably ever want to Force of Will one of their creatures. You know, Force of. I've been playing a little bit of the Reanimator deck. I'm gonna board out 2 forces here. Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of the Reanimator deck myself, and I had like several games where I had no animation spell, but I had an Entomb, and Entomb was just like 1 mana Hymn to Torak at instant speed on opponent's end step, which is pretty sick. So I think like forcing Entomb is like obviously sometimes correct, but probably not all the time. Okay, I'm gonna mulligan this, unfortunately. Oh no. Okay, mulligan this. Yeah, keep this. Let's get rid of a Barrowgoyf and It's either second Barrowgoyf or Cage or Sewers. And I want everything here. I'm gonna get rid of the second Barrowgoyf. Alright, what are the odds that they don't have Force of Will in their opening hand, huh? Could be Force of Negation if we're lucky. If they Force of Will this... Oh, they didn't. Okay. Second test. Do they have a removal spell? They have probably a Thoughtseize then? Yeah, okay. I mean, that just grew my Goyfs pretty significantly, but if they have, like, Entomb Reanimate next turn, then it's obviously terrible. Let's get a trigger with the Goyf first. We could, like, hit a creature off of the Undercity Source, I guess. But then I would rather have that creature in my hand. Yeah, let's... Okay, we didn't hit anything. So right now, no animation targets. But I mean, we are like one removal spell away from them just collapsing my thing here. I think I have to put this on top of the deck. I don't want to put it in the graveyard and then they have reanimate and then it's like bad news. And next turn I can try and play it. If they counter it, then that grows the Goyf for a bigger attack. Okay. So Ponder off of Underground Sea means Fatal Push on this Barrowgoyf is not on right now. They don't shuffle. Surgical. Oh yeah, Thoughtseize. Okay. I mean, the beats are real here. Okay, I'm gonna play this Barrowgoyf. I think like I could hang on to it. So the worry is that they have counterspell and a reanimation spell. If they have those two things, then me getting this Barrowgoyf counter right now is pretty bad. But I think I want to make this play anyways, because if they don't have exactly that, then we're looking pretty good. Okay, and that's in. Wow. We're getting to a point where animate dead, or like rather reanimate is, well, it's still on, right? Because they'll be at 8 here. Okay, let's trigger the guy. We hit Tamiyo. I'm gonna put Tamiyo in my hand. Oh, maybe that was wrong. Like, no, it's not wrong. All right, they need Entomb and Animate right now, I think, to turn things around, or maybe just 2 removal spells. Like if they have Petty Theft and then Fatal Push here, that's a pretty strong turn from them. I think Fetch. I think I can't remember the cost of Archon if it's 7 or 8, but I know Atrax is 7. Okay, they're passing here. I think that must mean they have probably a bounce spell for one of my guys. Okay, they're acting on my upkeep. What's happening? Okay, Undercity Sewers. They liked what they saw. Scary. Fatal Push. Okay, do they have a second Fatal Push? Wow, they do. Rough. Yep, I mean, I have a Tamiyo. They knew about that one. A lot less effective right now at this point in the game. And if they have an animate dead here or reanimate for my Barrowgoyf, then it's sad times. Murktide, okay. An 8/8 Murktide. So what's my best draw? Maybe another Barrowgoyf or my own Murktide? A Spellbomb. You love to see it. Do I get a clue here and just play second Tamiyo? I think I do. That way I have a Tamiyo that I can like flip next turn. Just a little bit of a waste of a card. Let's go. Well, thanks to the Barrowgoyfs, our life total is high enough for this to be a 4-turn clock. But we are behind significantly, and now they have Wasteland. That's pretty good. That's going to make subsequent turns harder. Fatal Push. Let's play, get a Tamiyo, trigger. Pause here with the trigger on the stack. They might have a Brazen Borrower. Looks like if they had it, they didn't want to flash it in. I think I crack a clue here. Like I might hit a land drop. If they have Bowmasters, that's going to get me, I think, one way or the other. We do hit a land drop. Okay. That means we could have flipped Tamiyo there. Yeah, I didn't. I passed into combat, or rather, I passed into the end step. I don't know that I wanted to. Because Tamiyo then just dies to Murktide. I guess that basically means Tamiyo says gain 8 life. They might also just ignore Tamiyo. Okay, we're at 11 here, so coming up fast towards our ultimate demise. What do I even have? I have Shouldred's Edict and 2 Brazen Borrowers that can... Oh, and speak of the devil. Well, let's see. Let's attack. I think I pass into their upkeep before I cast Petty Theft. They could have Force of Negation here. They could just have Force of Will. They have Force of Will. And they pitches a second Force. Okay. So I'm about to go to 3. I think I might need to crack the Spell Bomb on their end step, which is unfortunate because it doesn't help flip Tamiyo then, but I think I am in such dire straits that I need to be drawing towards my last 2 outs here. Or I guess like I have other outs which are which is getting towards my own Murktide. But then I just realized if I crack the Spell Bomb, that's going to grow their Murktide, meaning that if I draw my own Murktide, then it's just a chump blocker no matter what. Yeah, tough calls here. Okay, here comes the attack. I guess I can hang back with Tamiyo next turn and block for a turn. Brainstorm. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I probably have to crack my Spell Bomb. In which case I should have done it there. That would have then grown the Murktide 1 fewer. It's going to grow. I could nuke my own graveyard. Oh, and that was also my opportunity to crack it then if they have a second Murktide. Yeah, they do. Ugh, terribly played by me. Yeah, I should have with the second fetch land. Now I'm in big trouble. I guess no, there's no way I get to rebuy anything with Tamiyo. I was gonna say like if I could Shieldred's Edict twice over 2 turns. Well, let's see here. We blew it. We had the chance to play around that second Murktide. I am still going to crack this Spell Bomb and pay a black mana to draw a card. There's a Dark Ritual. It's not very good. It does help me eat clue tokens next turn. There's a Bowmasters. I guess I am going to crack a clue here. And that would have needed to hit Brainstorm, I think. Let's crack the second clue. This will flip Tamiyo, meaning we don't have a blocker. Yeah, alright, GG's opponent. Yeah, that was rough. I mulliganed to 5 in that game 2 here, and I think put up a pretty respectable fight, but at the end of the day, just ran out of gas. They had the 2 removal spells to my 2 creatures. That's it. All right, off to round number 2. All right, we're on the draw for round number 3 rather. Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep this. It is not the best hand. On the draw here as well. Oh, it's another Mystic Forge deck. Okay. I mean, that is potentially quite scary. If they have Planar Nexus next turn, they have a lot of mana. Another Doomsday. Alright, I think I'm actually going to not mess around with Undercity Sewers right now. I'm going to cast a Ponder off of this Underground Sea and see if I can find like Dark Ritual or something. Spellbomb, Jace, Underground Sea. I'm going to shuffle these. Bowmasters, probably not amazing. There's the Planar Nexus. And because of the pedal, they can play around. They can make a 4-drop here, and they have the 1 ring. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get to see the Orcish Bowmasters thing with ring here. I could have dazed to not have them be able to sack pedal and untap here, but I don't think that's something I'm interested in. I mean, we can try Bowmasters. They're gonna untap, be at 18. Then they're gonna tap the ring. I'm gonna flash in Bowmasters. They're at 17. They draw 3, take 3. They're at 14. Then they basically can like draw a card for each point of life. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with that. So I am gonna ponder here and hope to find not this. I guess I just pass here. I don't even know what I'm hoping to find next turn, because if I find Dark Ritual, it doesn't matter. If I find a Cycler, I guess I can Doomsday and have one Force of Will. But I do expect them to be able to win here. Yeah, they should be able to nuke me out here with like fireball me out with the Glaring Fleshraker. Second Fleshraker. Yeah. Now they can use these Eldrazi spawns to untap the ring, draw more cards. It's yeah, it's over. Well, looks like they are putting something here that I could daze, is what I was about to say, but then I remembered that they get new guys here. I'm just going to concede. We're not coming back from this. Okay, this was a turn 3 win from them, effectively. I'm going to board like I did last go around, was basically these 7 cards, and I guess board out Thoughtseize, board out Bowmasters and Goyfs. What was the last card I boarded out? I can't remember. Oh yeah, the Spell Bomb. I mean, having Thoughtseize on the play is definitely better than on the draw, which was the case last, like in round 1. But I still don't think Thoughtseize is that amazing here. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna keep this against my better judgment. Because we can. I mean, having the 3 Tamiyos is obviously very awkward. We'll need to brainstorm at some point to help fix that. But I do like that I can play a Tamiyo, have a daze for their turn 1, and then have Consign to Memory for turn 2, where I'm beginning to generate clue tokens. Planar Nexus. Soul Guide Lantern. That is not something I want to daze. They can have that. They didn't see anything from us, so they're assuming we're Reanimator, which is a fair assumption. Daze. All right, well, let's attack. I think I ponder here, looking for my second land drop, and we do find it. There's a Force of Will on top. We can draw to that. That's another way to convert these Tamiyos into value. So yeah, if I can just not have to crack this fetch right now, if I can daze something here. Glaring Fleshraker. Unfortunately, Force of Will, I think I do need to Consign to Memory this. Lotus Petal. Well, let's attack with Tamiyo. I think cracking a clue here is fine. If we hit a land, we do. Alright, pass. I have to hope that Double Daze carries us through here. Another Fleshraker. Yeah, I am going to Double Daze that. Because like right now, the problem obviously is that they can play something else next turn, or that's a lot scarier. We are 2 for 1-ing ourselves here, but the thing is also I'm just not, I'm not really capable of, as the game is right here, of beating this, I don't think. So Undercity Sewers, let's see what we get here. There's a Doomsday? There's not. Okay. I guess I'll save this on top of the deck, and then I'll still daze, and I'll pick up my Undercity Sewers. This obviously answers Glaring Fleshraker, the Shoulder's Edict, and it's not at all given that they'll even, like the Karn will even factor in here. But I was going to say, I don't think daze is going to have a lot of value moving on, but I guess that was, that might not be true. I think I Sewers here. Get rid of this Dark Ritual. Play this Petal. And pass. There's the Saga. That was their 5th mana. The One Ring. I guess I will crack a clue here. Nope. It's just another Dark Ritual. Okay. So they have Ring. We have to hope to find Doomsday like right now. There's a key. I was going to say they have no key, but I mean, there's a key. They can draw 2 more. All right. Big. Ooh, we do. We hit the Doomsday. That is sweet. Is it enough though? Think so, unfortunately. So we can attack, get a clue. Then we can cast Doomsday and pass the turn. And we can put a Force of Will on top of our deck to draw with the clue token. But the problem is they're gonna untap, draw 3, untap the ring, draw 4. So they're drawing, like with the draw step, they were seeing 8 cards at a minimum. Yeah, I mean that was the best draw in our deck, but it might just still be too little. We're gonna attack. I don't think they can like haste anything up and attack us next turn. They will be able to make a construct, but they would also need Lava Spur Boots. Yeah, let's cast a Doomsday. We probably want to put Force of Will on top of the deck. We can't both Force of Will and Sheoldred's Edict because we'll need to tap our clue tokens, but and I think Thassa's Oracle is just the win con here because of even if they have Kozilek's Command, we'll have Devotion Blue from Tamiyo, so we won't need to go all the way down. I'll be at 9 here, or rather 8. Force will take me to 7. They have lost 2 of their Flesh Rakers, which are the immediate win conditions here. Do I also want the Jace? I don't think so. Like them having, what do you call it? Them having Disruptor Flute here on Thassa, if I don't have Jace, is pretty awkward. We can't plan for more than one turn, I don't think. Like if they get to untap and like then draw like 20 cards or something, like if I pass a turn twice, then it's over, I think, regardless. So let's not try and plan for that. So what's the play here? We pretty much, I don't think we can afford to Sheoldred's Edict because we need to draw the Force to then not like have to spend mana next turn. Okay, so what if we draw Force, then we draw Cycler. Cycler, oh, taking 2 damage. Maybe this ought to be Consider. We have the mana. If they resolve Karn and get liquid metal coating, blah blah blah, it's bad. In that case, I think maybe the Street Wraith is better than Consider, because I think like we're not like if they resolve Fleshraker next turn, then it's over. I think no matter, it's not going to be a question of 2 life. They're going to just be able to kill us with all their cards. And then the Cavern of Souls right now is just a blank. Like it won't matter at all. It's gonna be the bottom card because we don't want to put 0 cards in our deck ever, because then a Kozilek's Command kills us. Yeah, Thassa, then the Cyclers, and then Force of Will, and we'll pass. And probably lose to the untapping the 1 ring with 2 counters players and a Manifold Key. Here comes the draws. Drawing the many cards. Riz's Workshop. That taps for a lot of mana now as well. So what do we have to force here? We probably have to force Karn. They're passing? What? They're passing into combat. I wonder if that means they have Disruptor Flute. It probably means that. And if so, they can use it right now. They let me draw Force of Will. That's really interesting. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, I'm going to flip Tamiyo here, which also is not going to matter. I guess they can kill Tamiyo with the Kozilek's Command if they want. But then the Kozilek's Command is gone. They're casting a... Oh, they have Flute. Okay. Should have used that before. They might have a second one, so, I mean, whatever. They can also just casually draw 4 cards. Okay, Street Wraith is drawn. This is where they need to, like, do the second thing. Like, cast a second Disruptor Flute. Looks like a Kozilek's command is happening. So they're saying target player scries X, that's them, then draws a card, X is 1. And they're killing Tamiyo. Okay. Oh, no, I'm drawing a card. So if they have a second command, then they kill me. They probably do. Okay, I'm going to leave Thassa's Oracle on the top. I draw it. Tamiyo flips. A lot of things happening. And now they need the second Kozilek's command. They didn't have it. But they can still have it. They can still make me draw a card. I mean, I'm going to merfolk here. Do they have another command? They can at least, they can untap their thing, right? And look for it. They have enough mana for that. This taps for 1. This taps for 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Nah, they just had the second one. All right. GG's opponent. Off to round number 4. All right, we're on the draw for round number 4. We get a creature plan here, creature plan hand. Gonna keep in the dark. We're up against, it's the basic island mirror here. Basic island, no play. So we could go for Thoughtseize here. I think I would rather get Tamiyo online for Rainstorm in response, sure. So if they want to daze this, I'm okay. I mean, obviously I can't do anything about it, but I think it's advantageous to me. Oh, they want to Force of Will this. Wow. Force of Will, pitch, lore, and reveal. Okay. So what does that tell us? It tells us they don't have creature removal, and they pitched lore and revealed. So what kind of deck are they? Well, I mean, they're going to be the kind of deck that gets Thoughtseize next turn, most likely. Forest. Well, I mean, let's hope they don't have main deck Veil of Summer, huh? There is in the Hill Spellbomb. Let's get basic Swamp here, because we can't. Cunning Wish, okay. And the Ponder didn't shuffle. Pretty sure I want to take the stock up here. That helps them find the pieces they need. I'm not going to play Spellbomb. I'm going to play Cunning Wish. Not Cunning Wish. That was in their hand. Let's get rid of this Underground Sea here. Ooh, I like that. So next turn I'm going to play Barrowgoyf, and okay, they shuffle their deck, so they no longer know what's coming. They reveal an island, so their hand is Island, Cunning Wish, and Ancient Tomb. All right, and they're passing. Daze, ooh, that's also pretty good. I mean, the Ancient Tomb means, yeah, maybe not so much, but they could have chosen to play Ancient Tomb there and have Cunning Wish around Daze or whatever, but they, based on what they've seen, they have to expect that there's Wasteland in our deck, which they're Cunning Wish. I think this gets dazed right now. Punish that. I almost want to not trigger the Barrowgoyfs here, because I would actually love them to think that I'm just Dimir, whatever. But maybe that's just silly. They see the Consider. They have to at least wonder about that. But I think I'm just going to cycle this and draw a card and grow my Goyf. There's a second Goyf. Sweet. Alright. I am actually going to not trigger the Barrowgoyf. There's a Hedge Maze. They mill over Ancient Tomb. Let's attack with Goyf. And then I think I just play second Goyf, and now they have one turn to figure it out through a Force of Will. Which obviously is not impossible, but it is pretty, it's going to be pretty hard, I think. Well, Show and Tell plus Omniscience plus Emrakul right now is what it will. No, but then I just force the Show and Tell. Yeah, I don't know. All right, sweet. We take game 1. Let's bring in Flusterstorm, bring in the Force of Negations, maybe bring in the Shoulder's Edict, I don't know. And then we probably want to board out the Barrowgoyfs. And then the Hill Spellbomb. And is there anything else that's worth cutting? I guess the Brazen Borrower I mean, it is nice to have like a catch-all thing that bounces whatever it might be that they could have, but I think just being a Doomsday deck with 4 Tamiyos, 2 Bowmasters, and 6 Forces is a pretty good place to be at. Something I've noticed is that I'm boarding out LED like a lot less than I used to. I used to pretty much always board it out versus like any blue deck almost, because I didn't want to. I imagined that I would never want to use the win right now line, but okay. So we have choices here. I would imagine they can do stuff here to interact with Doomsday. I'm gonna take it a little bit slower. Again, exact same pattern as last game. I mean, who's to say what would have happened if they hadn't forced the Tamiyo, but it did cost them. I can't remember what they pitched, but I feel like I was sort of ahead on resources the whole time. Okay, so what's this? Another brainstorm post fetch. They must have Lorne revealed. Another dark ritual. Not exactly what the doctor ordered. Let's get the attack in. I think I ponder here and then probably cast Doomsday. I don't know. Maybe then I'm just supposed to cast Doomsday rather than ponder first. Because, like, I don't have a second blue card. I could also, like, double Dark Ritual, and then we have a clue token to crack. I think I like that, actually. Then the clue token can draw Force of Will off of... I guess I don't need to double Dark Ritual right now. I can go for the Doomsday. We see if they have Force of Will. In that case, I think I just pass here, and then I have Dark Ritual Orcish Bowmasters, which might not be good enough. Yeah, if they have the show and tell right now. And looks like they do. Okay. Let's put in Burton Catacombs, and they have Emrakul. Okay. Well, I'm gonna draw the clue. I could also get a Survey Land here, but I think I need cards here. I need another Doomsday. Force of Will, huh? Well, let's ponder. Force, Tamiyo. And that's it. Alright. Emrakul gets the job done. I still like the plan I'm at here on the play. I think it's going to be okay. Now they know we're a Doomsday deck. Yeah, keep this Tamiyo plus Force of Will. Meanwhile, they mulligan to 6. Alright. Let's do the Tamiyo thing. Tamiyo's in. Let's go. Mistrise Village. Well, that's a good card at some point. Let's attack with Tamiyo here. Get a Raging Clue. And I'm going to play out this Petal. That means I could flip Tamiyo right now if I wanted to. Maybe I do want to. Yeah, let's cast Consider. Let's put Scalding Tarn to the graveyard. Ooh, there's Doomsday. I still think I flip Tamiyo here. Hopefully get another blue card for Force of Will. That's not a blue card for Force. So that's unfortunate. But next turn we can rebuy the Consider if all else fails. And then we can put Doomsday on the stack. There's a Ponder. Okay. Shuffle the Ponder. And Ancient Tomb. Okay, so they need 2 more, like a blue mana and another mana to make Show and Tell uncounterable. That card there is blue. I think I do grab the Consider here. That way we have Force, and then we can still like draw into the pile if they put Show and Tell in the stack, and then get to Tamiyo. To Thassa. Force of Will, pitch stock up, pitch Consider here, and they concede. Okay, sweet. All right, that's 2-2. Let's see if we can finish on a positive record. All right, on the play for round, or rather on the draw for the final round, another Tamiyo hand, Spellbomb hand. I'll keep. It's not terrible, depending on what we're up against, of course. Island Ponder. And I do think I'm going to go with Wizard on, like Cavern on Wizard here. Or I suppose. Well, all right. I am going to go with Wizard on, and get the Tamiyo in. Wizard overlapping with Thassa is super sweet. And I mean, I was going to suggest maybe I wait a turn and then I can like play Thassa, then cast Ponder, and then have Street Wraith if they have removal. But that's like Ponder being sorcery is not too hot. How do we want to do this? They're showing Bowmasters mana. They could also be like on Entomb. I'm gonna attack first. So that just happened. I'm gonna play the Spellbomb. It's a little bit risky just sitting on this Doomsday here if they ever have a Thoughtseize. Long pause on this Spellbomb. Force of Will. Okay, so that pretty much gives away what they're up to. I could, okay, a number of options are open to me right now, but chief among which I think is to cast Dark Ritual Doomsday. What was pitched here? A Ponder. They could be sitting on a Daze. That's pretty bad if they are. But I think I want to do this because then I can cycle the Street Wraith into a Force of Will. Okay, it looks like they have the Daze. They're floating mana. Gross. So they just had it all. Did they also have the Entomb here? Unbelievable. I could try and cycle Street Wraith into Force of Will, I suppose. Oh, I can't believe they hooked me with that Daze. Why wouldn't they have Reanimate as well? Alright, cycle Street Wraith. Hit Force of Will. Ooh, we hit the Force of Will. I am actually going to pitch the Thassa's Oracle here. A land here lets me flip Tamiyo. Bowmasters is also pretty appealing. Maybe Bowmasters is what I'm going to do instead of trying to flip Tamiyo this turn. They could just have another Reanimate and then we're fucked. Get out of here, Animate dead. Okay, we have to get lucky one more time. Hit a Daze or a Force here. We hit, yeah. I'll let them show me the 10 cards and then... I mean, that is just pretty sick. This deck performing on the top of its game. Beat me having Spellbomb, Dark Ritual Doomsday, finding Force of Will. Just didn't matter. Alright, well, let's consolidate here. I think we've already boarded against this deck earlier in the league. I'm gonna board out the Doomsday package altogether. Hope for a bit of better luck than the last go around. I boarded out 2 forces. No, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'll keep this. The double Dark Ritual, pretty awkward. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, and then turn 2 Bowmasters is not too bad. Force of Will, Thoughtseize, Reanimate. So I think I have to take Reanimate, annoyingly. If I take Thoughtseize, then next turn they just Ponder, then I play Bowmasters, they Force, and then they can Reanimate it. This deck is so annoying. If I take Force, then they Thoughtseize me, they can Reanimate it. Like, maybe having my Bowmasters Reanimated on their turn 2 is not, like, the end of the world, but it doesn't feel very good. I'll take the Reanimate. Stupid Reanimator. I mean, they're going to Thoughtseize me here. They will take one of these 2 cards. Bowmasters or Force, who knows? Or Brainstorm. Either card can be answered by the Force. They probably take Brainstorm and then save the Force for the Bowmasters. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they ripped another reanimation spell and they just take the Bowmasters. Looks like Bowmasters is the choice. Barrowgoyf, okay. I'll try the Barrowgoyf here. I don't know, like, if they force this, they most likely will. I could brainstorm, hope to hit a daze, of which I play 3, or a force and a blue card. Play 2 forces. Yikes. Okay. Let's put back the fatal push and petty theft. And do not shuffle and pass turn. All right. And we will pass the turn a couple more times because we're brainstorm locked. Dothy, okay. I mean, we have an answer for that, so that's pretty good. We have many answers actually. Okay, that died. We draw the Brazen Borrower, and then our next draw step freezes up. And here comes the Brainstorm, and looks like they are brainstorm locked. Maybe they could also have Entomb. Another fatal push. Okay. Well, I mean, if we're lucky and they keep putting out like 1 or 2 drops, then you know, it's great all day. But I am worried that their deck will sort of hit its stride before ours does. They don't shuffle the Ponder. Well, this can't be Murktide, so another Dothy. How about no Scott? Dothy's dead. Come on with a good one. I'll take a Barrowgoyf. If they found another force, we 2 for 2 each other, and it is what it is. Barrowgoyf is in. Hopefully they aren't able to remove this. Murktide here would be a little problematic, but we can petty theft it. At least buy us a turn, get an attack with the Goyf. Let's see here. They might have a push. Or a Brazen Borrower of their own. Well, fatal push is on. Ha! I meant theirs, but mine too, I guess. Do I push this Tamiyo? No, I don't want to push the Tamiyo if they have Brainstorm. Sheoldred's Edict, that answers Tamiyo in several different ways. Let's see here. They might block and then Brainstorm. Goyf triggers. I get my own Tamiyo. I think I do try and play this. I know this plays into days with the fatal push, but I'm gonna hope they crack their fetch here, which takes off Brainstorm as a way to flip the Tamiyo in response here. They had the days, okay. At least days doesn't get to pick up the Undercity Sewers they're getting right now. They like what they saw. No, they didn't. They put Delta into the graveyard. Okay, never mind. Here comes their Tamiyo. I am going to block here, because if they have Kaito. So Tamiyo's touch butts. They eat the clue right away. They really want something here. And they concede. Wow. Was not expecting that. Okay, now the dreaded game 3 on the draw versus Reanimator. I am just looking at these 2 Force of Wills in my sideboard right now and am slightly concerned. But I mean, maybe that is just, being scared. They, like, Force of Will going down a card, it is a pretty big deal in this type of matchup where we're trading a lot, like 1 for 1. Having a card fewer makes a big difference. I think our deck definitely has the lower floor of these 2 decks in the heads-up match with this sideboard constellation. And I'm not going to be so bold as to say it has the higher ceiling. So that's probably all you need to know. But the ceiling is pretty high, like our ceiling. If we get like Cavern of Souls and creatures. But right now we have no land, so I'm going to have to mulligan this hand. We do get Cavern of Souls. I'm going to keep, and what do I bottom here? Gosh, I don't know. I'll bottom the pedal. Ponder, okay. What I want most in life right now is a fetch land, because then I can have my basic lands underneath me. Okay. They do not shuffle. Okay, that's not a fetch land, but it is a land. All right, I'm gonna float the Delta, I think. We're insulated against most things right now. We can Flusterstorm a Thoughtseize. We can Flusterstorm an Entomb. They have Tamiyo, but we can Fatal Push her next turn. Force of Will is maybe not even the worst here. Do I Fatal Push right now? Or do I think if they had the Brainstorm last turn, they would have probably used it. In either case, I'm opening myself up to Daze. I could also Thoughtseize, but I think Flusterstorm is a way of defense is better. All right, I'm gonna push, and then I'm gonna push it some more. Okay, they also know I play Daze, so like brainstorming in response could get dazed. We have an end of turn play. I mean, like I said, I have played Ursus's deck where I just got smoked by forcing an Entomb, and then they or my opponent got smoked because they forced my Entomb, and I didn't even have an animation spell. But I think going from 1 for 1 here is fine. I mean, if they have reanimate, they can even reanimate the Tamiyo, and it's no big deal. Like for them, that's still a pretty fine play. Oh, looks like they're passing. How about a Barrowgoyf right now? How about that? Okay, I'll take a Ponder, I guess. I'm gonna Thoughtseize first. Bowmasters, gonna force that. Like not to play against that card. Force pitching force. Okay, we get to then Thoughtseize them, and then we get to Ponder if we want to. Force and Brazen Bee. I take the Brazen Bee, and then I hope that my Ponder finds a creature, like Murktide or Barrowgoyf. Not Tamiyo. Bummer. I'm gonna shuffle. Get a Tamiyo anyways. I'm gonna pass here. So their hand is Force of Will. I think like drawing Barrowgoyf in my X2 draw steps would be absolutely amazing. I'm gonna play the Tamiyo. Okay. They either didn't care to force it or don't have another blue card. Thoughtseize, yeah. Have a look. So I'm gonna, if they have another, no, I'm gonna say if they have another Bowmasters, but then they would need another mana as well. They can't have that. So Tamiyo is going to at least block a little bit. How about that Barrowgoyf or Murktide? Come on. Dark Ritual. Alright, I think I'm gonna take an attack here and draw a card. This is like gonna speed up the clock quite a bit, but I do need, I think, to not just be standing still here. Crack the clue. Another Dark Ritual, yeah. Again, getting punished by, like that's what the Demir deck doesn't. It doesn't get punished that much because like their combo is just much more synergistic. Like reanimate, like sure, they might like draw in tombs when what they want to do is just play creatures, but like I have Dark Rituals. I guess I could have boarded out some Dark Rituals, but Dark Ritual is also kind of nice early on with Barrowgoyf. They pass into the end step, and we just draw another land. I think I'm gonna attack here and like go for the hero moment last draw here. I'm gonna cast a Dark Ritual. See if they want to fight over that. They didn't. Fatal Push. Okay. But then they can just counter this with their force, and then we're dead. They didn't. I guess that means they don't have a blue card. So what are they drawing over there? Just lands? Well, we're at 3. Now they're paying costs. They're reanimating the Brazen Borrower. Yeah, that makes sense. Bowmasters. I mean, that is not too bad. Does mean that their force. So they didn't reanimate on the previous turn, so that means they could have drawn the reanimate. That means they could still not have a blue card. I really don't want to commit this cavern to Orc. Actually, let's try this. I'm banking on them not having found a blue card for force. Looks like they didn't. Okay, I'm gonna kill the Brazen Borrower. And then I'm gonna attack with Tamiyo. Get a clue. And then that's a clue I probably can't really afford to spend anytime soon. Now them drawing like cantrips is suddenly bad. Yeah, that Bowmasters was pretty good. They're passing, or at least going into combat here. Passing the turn. Wow, tense game. There is a Barrowgoyf. Barrowgoyf. Okay. We've held on to this cavern. We're going to name Lurgoyf with it. And suddenly, everything felt a lot better. I don't think I attack with Tamiyo here, because if they actually drew another Brazen Borrower, then we're just dead. Plus, you know, the clue tokens aren't really doing a lot right now with the Bowmasters in play. Force of Will. No, not Force of Will. That was a Bitter Triumph. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this card. Okay, so that was a removal spell. They pay 3 life rather than discard a card. Now if they can reanimate my Barrowgoyf, it's probably game over. Alright, opponent is passing into combat here, I guess. They have Wasteland. Okay, so Wasteland on the Cavern is probably pretty good. Something tells me they just keep not drawing a blue card. I think if they had a blue card for force, they would absolutely have wasted my Cavern. So how about we attack with Orc Army. They could have drawn another Bowmasters, but then I think they attack, don't they? Are we willing to trade Bowmasters? I think we are. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. Looks like they're taking the D. How many instances do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm not going to spew the Dark Ritual. I mean, it doesn't really do anything in my hand, but let's see. Did they find force? Rather, blue card for force? No. They might have another one of these. Bitter Triumphs. It's going to cost them some life or the force of will in hand. Oh, they had a Bowmasters. Wow. Okay. So I'm at 2. Wow, this is super exciting or super tense. They're either dead or I'm dead, I think. Like if they can get rid of my one of my blockers, they have lethal. Oh no, they're attacking. They have another Bowmasters, that's also lethal. I'm gonna block the army and one of the Bowmasters. I'm at 1. Oh, they're going out! Well, maybe no, hang on, they're not going out. If they find another Bowmasters, oh, this is too exciting! So I'm gonna kill their 2 Bowmasters and put 1 on them. Oh no, was that a huge punt? If they found reanimate, then me killing the Bowmasters? Yeah, I just gave them an animation target. That would be, I mean, I'm down for whatever here. This game has been quite thrilling. Okay, what does this do? It puts Thought Seasons to the graveyard. Ponder. I can't believe I gave them the animation targets. I should just have killed them or put the triggers on them. They shuffle the Ponder. They're at 5. And they concede! Wow, what a game! What a match! I did not foresee winning that after losing the first game. And then, like, the game 3 going the way it did. Wow. Alright, let's debrief. I want to say that the Nihil Spellbomb, like, earned its spot in one way because we had it against the Reanimator deck, but unfortunately they had Force of Will for it and was just able to win through it. But that is what it was there for, that matchup, and we did draw it versus them. Like I'm still like reeling from the fact that I made what I consider to be a pretty big mistake in the final turn of the final game. I was fortunate to not get punished. I think I'd have to go back. I can't even remember if I had a Bowmasters in my graveyard. They could have just animated anyways. I don't think so. So basically, just in case it got lost in all the brouhaha, the thing was, I was at 1 life, and they cast a Brainstorm, and that gave me 3 Bowmasters triggers, and they had 2 Bowmasters in play. And I targeted each of their Bowmasters with 1 ping. And what I should have done was I should have aimed all 3 pings at them and just let the Bowmasters stay in play, because what it effectively enabled was for them to draw a any animation spell would have killed me. They drew with Brainstorm, and then they cast a Ponder and shuffled, and like they had quite a few looks, and that was just unnecessary. Like I don't think there's another animation target that works for them there, other than Bowmasters exactly. They have to hit either one of their own Bowmasters or an animation spell, and I just basically doubled the outs they had, because without me killing their Bowmasters, they only had however many Bowmasters were remaining in their deck, which is probably 2. It could even be as low as 1. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, 3-2. Kind of. Did I only play against? No, I was gonna say, did I only play against Dimir Reanimator and Mystic Forge? But no, I also played against Omnitel. Yeah, Omnitel felt pretty good. I then won and lost once each versus Mystic Forge and Dimir. There seems to be a lot of Mystic Forge. I think you saw that in the last video I put out as well. It's pretty interesting. I don't know what is giving that deck as much wind in the sails. I don't hear a lot of talk about it, but I do seem to just run into it all the time in leagues. Going 50-50 versus those 2 decks. I mean, I think versus the Mystic Forge deck, I think I'm going to be careful here, but I do feel a little bit of an advantage versus that deck. But probably less so with all the creatures we're playing. Like, you really, versus that deck, you really don't want to go like Dark Ritual Barrowgoyf, you know? You basically want to win with Doomsday pretty fast. And then you need to be able to play around the stuff they have, which is mainly Disruptor Flute and Kozilek's Command. But yeah. And then versus Dimir, I do feel like an underdog, but I do like becoming this Dimir creature deck with removal rather than being on Doomsday, if I'm being honest. But that could also just be incorrect. Like, they saw Doomsday in game 1, right? And then for game 2, we won with creatures. And I don't know if they had boarded in consigned memory and stuff, but I just don't know that I think it's very reliable to win as a spell-based combo deck versus Dimir Reanimator. They're running 4 Thoughtseize, they're running 4 Force, like 3 or 4 Days, 3 or 4 Wastelands, 4 Bowmasters post board, most likely. Yeah, I think like trying to one-up them with black creatures is decent here, and with Murktide as well, as we just saw. I have to say I'm still pretty stoked about this list. I think it's performing well enough, and it is showing me enough that I feel it's worth continuing with. Let's see how the format kind of settles as we approach Eternal Weekend. There's still quite a bit of time to go, and while we probably shouldn't expect anything to happen with regards to bans, like, stuff could still happen. The format could still weave and wobble with releases in that time, and just with people like innovating. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. Please go ahead and like the video, do the YouTube stuff, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Helps what I'm doing here. I would really appreciate it if you're not subscribed. If you want, you can join the Patreon, get the sideboard guide, get a primer once that's ready. And yeah, I will be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.